We have some very interesting rumors surrounding the SeaWorld parks and Busch Gardens parks, and I'm here to share all of my thoughts with you regarding these very intriguing rumors that are coming out of some of the best parks in the entire world. Hey guys, it's Brandon here from Theme Park Predictions, and I'm here to break down all these great rumors, including 2 new hotels opening up within the chain over the next few years, and Busch Gardens Williamsburg's 2024 project, and SeaWorld Orlando's new coaster that's probably going to open the same year because part of the park is now blocked off entirely, like you can't even get into certain areas of the park. So whatever they're building, it might be a little bit bigger than what we're anticipating. As for the other parks, I'm going to share my thoughts as to what I would expect to see from the parks come 2024 as well. So let's get into this because I really do love the SeaWorld parks. I mean, they're really just world-class parks that offer great rides and coasters. And as of late, of course, it seems like they just keep on adding these awesome rides and roller coasters every single year to the parks. We have the new Intamin Log Flume opening up at SeaWorld San Antonio later this year. We have the world's largest S&S Scream and Swing that just opened at Busch Gardens Tampa called Serengeti Flyer. I just rode it last week and it's phenomenal. But most importantly, SeaWorld parks are adding Intamins left and right, and that's great news for all of us. So starting off, I predict that 2024 Busch Gardens Tampa is not going to add a new coaster, mainly because I feel like we would already seen construction by now. So I think 2025 is going to be the coaster year for that. Now there's 2 coasters that I can see coming to Busch Gardens Tampa next. One would be an Intamin multi-launch coaster, just like the one that's opening up at SeaWorld San Diego. Something like a motorbike coaster, as well as the Busch Gardens Williamsburg Dark Coaster, which is the same type of coaster, but it's indoors and it's more of a shuttle coaster, or at least indoors. So I can see that coming. However, with that said, if you look at the map here, and we know that the Phoenix, the upside down pirate ship, is no longer at the park, this area definitely could benefit from having a major roller coaster. And in my opinion, this would be a fantastic area for a coaster station, as well as the brake run, the maintenance building, as well as obviously the queue line. So just imagine if Busch Gardens Tampa would go Giga, and I think obviously that's what everyone assumes that could be happening because they definitely need an airtime, high capacity coaster. And this location would be fantastic. And as you can see here, I drew an outline as to where I could see this coaster layout stretching. But again, this is not concrete information. I just feel as if the Busch Gardens Giga has to be on the table for the park. Obviously, I know they have a height requirement and all, but they were able to get Falcon's Fury approved, which I believe is like 330 feet tall, the drop tower. So maybe they can, stretch the limits and build a Giga that's around that height here. Who knows? It's obviously fun to speculate, and that's what I'm doing. Then this project will take years to build because there's some animal exhibits around this area, and in which way would the park want the layout to go? Would the park keep the Sky Ride? Would they remove the Sky Ride? I mean, after all, it's hardly ever open, so you might as well remove it, unfortunately. But there's so many fun questions to bring up when it comes to the Giga. Now here's an interesting thought. We know that Kumba is near the end of its life cycle, unfortunately. So is Busch Gardens going to pull the Hawk or Nemesis treatment for this and replace all the track? Or are they just going to say, peace out, it's time to build something new in this location? And last year at this time, when the first rumor started going around that Kumba is going to be torn down and at least removed, I was on board with them just to replace the track and maybe rename it, retheme it, etc. But you have to ask yourself, even on busy days, Kumba rarely gets a very long line. So why would Busch Gardens want to invest in a new track for it, which essentially is a brand new roller coaster, but it's going to offer the same layout, pretty much the same experience? Does it make sense for the park return on investment wise? As much as I love Kumba, and Kumba's probably top 3 B&M coaster for me, I just don't see it as of now making any sense for Busch Gardens and SeaWorld parks to spend the money on bringing Kumba back to the park, the same layout and everything else pretty much the same. I think they're better off, and they know this, of building a brand new experience altogether, a new roller coaster. So What I'm going with this is maybe the Giga will be located in the back of the park by Congo Rapids. I mean, they have tons of room back there to work with, but who knows? Now, the only downside I have with the Giga is over the last, 3 or 4 years, we've seen SeaWorld parks add these awesome coasters, but nothing the size of a Giga, or at least what the price tag is for a Giga. So is the chain willing to dish out $30 million for a Giga or even more? I hope they are personally, but who knows? And speaking of Busch Gardens Tampa, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, the SeaWorld parks are going to be adding 2 on-site hotels to 2 of their parks. And I think it's a no-brainer that obviously, let's eliminate the parks that won't do this. I don't see SeaWorld San Antonio or SeaWorld San Diego doing this, just because those are like the lower tier parks out of the 5. So I definitely can see Busch Gardens Tampa building this. And truth be told, Busch Gardens Tampa desperately needs a hotel. And if they're able, and they should, work it out so you can like open your door at the hotel room or your patio and look out and see the safari, just like the Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. Now, obviously, I'm not expecting a hotel to be that size or that, nice. However, something around 200 to 300 rooms would do really good for Tampa. The other park would either be Williamsburg or SeaWorld Orlando. SeaWorld Orlando, I could see it, but there's so many hotels already near the park, like just outside the park property. So I really don't know if it makes the most sense for SeaWorld Orlando to get this. But Busch Gardens Williamsburg, on the other hand, is kind of the opposite. There's really not that many hotels located, near park property. You kind of have to go up to Williamsburg area to be able to find a hotel that you can stay at. So Busch Gardens Williamsburg has the land to do this, then I definitely feel like that park could be the one to get a hotel, maybe, who knows? And again, it's fun to speculate. And speaking of Busch Gardens Tampa, what's going on with Project 2024? It's been a long time since we've heard anything about this new coaster that's supposedly going where the Dragonfire coaster once sat. And this is a massive plot of land, and Escape Designs and I teamed up to build what I want to consider as one of the best RMC hybrid coasters ever created. And just to kind of show you guys as to what type of coaster that I could see coming to this park. Because what we know is the attraction is going to be over 200 feet tall and be located in this area, and I believe it's going to reuse the Dragonfire station. So whatever the park has planned, it's definitely a new coaster. And we already know that the Project Dragonspire Intamin shuttle coaster is off the table. So that's no longer a thing, which I'm fine with. That looked really cool. And I love the fact that we would have another Giga coaster at the parks here in America, but capacity would have been a nightmare. And with Pantheon located just pretty much next door, it really didn't make sense, in my opinion, for the park to do that. However, adding the world's best or something along the same size as Iron Gwazi to this location would be something that I think has to be on the table and would really shift everything at Busch Gardens Williamsburg has to offer, as far as it's going to skyrocket their coaster collection into one of the best in the world. And it's already really, really good. So again, I really feel like we're looking at an RMC hybrid coaster that's probably coming in 2024. Might be 2025 right now, since we don't really have much construction going on in that area. So unless something starts to pick up sooner than later, I think 2025 at this point. But RMC hybrid would be awesome. Or what about the highly anticipated RMC T-Rex? I mean, after all, 2025 would probably align with what RMC has on the table for this prototype and when they want to debut it. And obviously, I don't see the first coaster of this being 300, 400, or 500 feet tall. So maybe a 220-foot tall RMC T-Rex coaster could open up Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Again, this is just me talking to you guys, sharing my crazy thoughts up here. These are not really predictions, more or less just speculation and kind of finding out the what ifs. But I really feel like whatever's going to go in this location, it's going to be really big because they have a ton of area here, and they can even work it with the Rhine River below if they wanted to, and kind of have the terrain play in favor for whatever they decide to build. So that project is extremely exciting. And as for SeaWorld San Antonio and SeaWorld San Diego, they are both opening up new intimate attractions in 2023. So will they get anything in 2024? I definitely feel like SeaWorld San Diego could get a flat ride, or maybe like a new kiddie area. or an improvement to their kid area, something along the a smaller attraction. And as for SeaWorld San Antonio, they're getting the new Intamin log flume this year. So for next year, could they get a new coaster? Because it's been a few years. Texas Stingray opened in 2020. And with Six Flags Fiesta Texas opening Diabolical Cliffhanger in 2022, and then the new Kids Skyline Family Coaster coming in 2023. So overall, I'm really excited about this little coaster battle that SeaWorld San Antonio and Fiesta Texas is kind of having here. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see a new coaster come to SeaWorld San Antonio in 2024, but maybe 2025. And if there is a coaster, then there's so many different rides that would do well for this park. And at the top of my head, I would say something like a Pantheon would do really well here. Having an Intamin multi-launch coaster featuring a vertical spike, a top hat, some inversions, maybe have it play off the water. There's a lot of cool things that they could do with this here if they wanted to. But what intrigues me is a coaster type that cannot be found in Texas, and that is a flying coaster. What if SeaWorld San Antonio would build a brand new Vekoma flying coaster? Now, FLY or Fly in Phantasialand looks phenomenal, and I've heard nothing but great things about this. But it also has me wondering, why haven't we seen a new one built since then? Now, obviously, the pandemic and everything kind of shifted because of that. And let's be honest, these Vekoma flying coasters are pretty up there in price. So I understand that's a big reason why. But I feel like adding something like this to SeaWorld San Antonio and have it like Manta, themed or whatever, like SeaWorld Orlando, could do really good things for this property in Texas. And again, Texas's first flying coaster. So that's really cool and a smart move. If I was in charge of SeaWorld, I would highly consider that going forward. But one thing the park does need, and that is a drop tower. And we do know that SeaWorld Parks has a very interesting history with drop towers and not the best of luck. So is the company ready to go down that route? Who knows? But I would definitely love to see a 200 to 300 foot tall drop tower ride open up at SeaWorld San Antonio at some point in the future. But let's talk about SeaWorld Orlando, because I was there last week and the area that you see highlighted here is all blocked off, which is pretty crazy because if you wanted to go see the sea lions, you actually have to go through the Sea Lion Stadium just to go see the Sea Lion exhibit. So whatever the park is planning on building here, it's going to be, I think, larger than what we anticipated, because with all this midway area here blocked off, are we going to see the coaster track go above this midway at all? Or maybe will part of the coaster's layout be located in front of the Sea Lion Stadium along the hillside? Now, that is a very intriguing thought because there's a lot of room to work with there. And if this roller coaster, which I do not feel as if is going to offer that much indoor section because the Antarctica building isn't that big. So you're going to have to house the maintenance, the queue line, as well as the load or unload station. So I don't really see much track being located inside. So where is this roller coaster layout going to go? Now, the earlier rumors pointed out that it's going to go underneath Kraken and onto the lake in between Mako and Kraken, which I would love for that to happen, but you also have to cross over a maintenance road to do that. So there are some obstacles there. However, this area, as you see here, might not be as large, but it is rather intriguing to see exactly what the park could build in this location. Now, what SeaWorld Orlando desperately needs is a good family coaster. And what we know now, Intamin is tied to this project, which is great because Intamin's awesome. They're my favorite manufacturer, but we definitely need a roller coaster that offers a very low height requirement and it's going to be great for families to ride together. With that being said, I'm very intrigued by this project just because they're finally doing something with the old Antarctica building, and as to how large it's going to be, who knows? Where is it going to be located? Who knows? All we know at this point is the station's going to be located where the Antarctica building is. So what do you guys think is going to happen? Please let me know in the comments. If you guys like this shirt, this is my Keep Riding Coasters tee. This is the stuff I wear in the parks all the time. Very comfortable. Go check it out, themeparkmerch.com. You can get free shipping on your order as well. And I appreciate all the support. Now, let me know your thoughts about all these rumors about SeaWorld parks in 2024, and let me know what you think each park's going to be opening as their next attraction. With that being said, I hope your day is going great. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, And as always, keep riding coasters.